The Democrats are displaying this disgusting, cowardly attitude. Every time the Republicans threaten a filibuster, the Democrats should just say, go ahead. Go ahead and filibuster. Let the American people hear. But what do? What do? They have a vote on cloture, and the vote doesn't go through, or it goes through the way the Republicans want it to go through, and then the Democrats all immediately go to have their diapers changed. Rather than going ahead with whatever the issue is and let these verminous son of a bitches go ahead and filibuster. Why don't they do that? Why don't the Democrats do that? Well, because they are cowards. Here's what the Democrat office holders and office seekers are running away from where it concerns health insurance reform. As weak as it's been, they're running away from the fact that kids can't be denied coverage anymore because of pre-existing medical problems. Democratic candidates don't want to talk about that. That's wonderful. Here's another thing they're running away from. Young people can stay on their parents' policy till age 26. That is a critical plus in a time when millions of people are unemployed, and so many of those people are young people, and hundreds of thousands are entering the workforce every day, or potentially should be entering the workforce, and can't, not every day, but every week, every month, whatever, every year, and can't get a job. And if they can't get a job, they can't afford to buy health insurance. So so-called Obamacare allows these young people to stay on their parents' policy until age 26. Why aren't the Democratic candidates talking about that? That's a good thing. What else? No more lifetime caps on coverage. If you have a chronic disease that perhaps requires surgeries, expensive surgeries, the insurance companies until tomorrow can put a cap on how much they have to pay. Once you reach that cap, if you do reach it, you're on your own, boobala. You're completely on your own. Can't do that anymore. These filthy, disgusting, predatory insurance companies can't do that anymore. Why aren't the Democrats talking about that instead of peeing their pants? Insurers can no longer cancel you simply because you get sick or ill or need care. They can't now send a certified letter to you as you're laying in your hospital bed saying, pursuant to Section 29, Chapter 40, blah, 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 your policy is going to be terminated. Blah, blah, blah. Can't do that anymore. Why aren't the Democratic candidates for public office touting that? They can't cancel you anymore. The insurance companies can't cancel you because of a minor mistake on your original application. They can now. You didn't tell them you had a zit. You didn't tell them that you had, what's that called, cystic acne. You can't tell them that you used, what was that? What's that chemical? Accutane. And now you have skin cancer, and they're saying, well, there's a direct link between your cystic acne and Accutane and skin cancer, and you didn't put it on your application, so we're not paying. Can't do that anymore. Can't do that. Why aren't the Democratic office holders seeking election or re-election, why aren't they talking about that? If a claim is filed by you today, your insurance company can deny the claim, and that's where it stops. That's it. And if they want to, they can drop your coverage. Because of a dispute in that claim, starting tomorrow, they can't do that. Insurers have to continue covering you if there is a dispute until it's resolved. Why aren't the Democratic candidates for public office touting that and cheering it and telling the voters, look, this won't happen to you anymore? Until tomorrow, if you're having a heart attack and you call an ambulance or you call 911 and an ambulance shows up, and they take you to an emergency room in a hospital that's close to save your life, and it's not a hospital in your insurer's network, they won't pay. We had that happen to us, didn't we? When Kathy had one of those tachycardia attacks, and she was about, 5 minutes from dying. And they took her, the EMS people got her stabilized and took her to a hospital and emergency room. And about a month later, the claim, what was the claim? A couple grand? Was denied by our insurance company until Kathy wrote them a letter and said, "You're out of your goddamn minds. What do you mean it's denied? I'm dying? And you want me to say, are you in my network? Well, the insurance company paid up, didn't they? Sort of. What did they pay? They paid more. Okay, starting tomorrow, that can't happen to you. Why aren't the Democrats who are seeking election or re-election pushing that and letting the American people know about that? Screening is now covered. I had a colonoscopy recently, about 6-7 months ago. And if you haven't had one, you should get one, especially if you're 50 or older. It's not as bad as you think. As a matter of fact, if you have the right kind of doctor, when it's all over, you'll give them a kiss. But I had one. And in order to, they cost about $3,000. And in order to get that, where it's covered with my insurance company, I had to mention, I had to say, well, yeah, there's a little hemorrhoid bleeding. Was there? I'm not going to tell you. But if I wouldn't have said that, then it would have been screening and not diagnostic. Oh, by the way, the colonoscopy was completely clear. I'm sort of like Katie Couric. But my point is, after tomorrow, they can't do that anymore with breast exams or colonoscopies. The screening will now be covered. Why aren't Democratic office seekers talking about this?